Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Jens Patheu, and today I'm going to talk about the first 2 days of Trump in the White House again. And I saw the inauguration, and I must say, I saw it live, and I'm always amazed by the show the Americans can make of it. It's tradition, and I think traditions are a good thing. They're not necessarily bad. And he's a showman. He makes it into a true show. I mean, he signed these executive orders in front of in like a stadium. I mean, you gotta love it. The show that's around it. And I want to do this video about the cons and the pros of Trump, because Trump is a person that actually divides the truth community. Some people really don't like him. He's saying he's controlled, and other people are real fans of him in the truth community. So that's quite interesting that there's this split again, and I don't like that split. I think we should respect each other's opinion, and I think we can learn from each other, and I think we should listen to each other's arguments. That's why, as I have done in the past, I like to present pros and cons about Trump. And if Trump does good things, I will gladly admit it. If Trump does some things that I'm critical of, I will also speak about this. So I'm trying to bridge the gap here a little bit, because I don't think it's a good thing that we are divided. We should strive for unity and let each other have our own opinions and respect each other's opinions. Trump is just one person. Okay, he's the president of America, which is the most visible country in the world. Everything that happens in America has big influence on the world, as it always is. But it's just one aspect. We can disagree on Trump. We can agree on 95% of the other things that's out there. So that's something that's really important to remember. And it's nothing more symbolized in the truth community by these two famous, conspiracy theorists like David Icke and Alex Jones. I love both of them. But Alex Jones is a real Trump fan, and David Icke is really, not a fan of him, because he's saying he's part of the system. So that's really interesting that split is existing there. And about David Icke, the two sons of David Icke, Garrett Icke and Jamie Icke, they are not Trump fans at all. They are against Trump, but not as extreme as their father, David Icke. But I like their position, because they say, they will eat a humble pie if they've been proven wrong, if it turns out that Trump is good on all fronts. And let me play that clip for you guys here.
No, I mean, my position, we spoke before we came on air, and I basically made the point that I don't think anyone out there is in any doubt of our position in terms of Trump and the Trump administration and what we think of politicians in general. But you know what? He's been sworn in now. He's the president. I'm just going to sit back, okay? And I hope you're right. If you're watching this and you're a big MAGA fan, I hope you're right and I'm wrong, because I've got kids, as Jay has. We've got skin in the game. We want him to be amazing. We want America to prosper. We want the rest of the world to prosper, get rid of wars, and look into vaccine and fluoridization, all this kind of stuff. I want that. I don't believe it will happen, but I hope I'm wrong.
Absolutely. We'd love to sit here one morning and just have egg on our face.
Mate, egg on face.
Really would.
Humble pie, tucking into it. Exactly what I want.
And it's also symbolized for me in his own administration, because I really like RFK, that he brought in RFK, but I really don't like Elon Musk. And you can see a YouTube video I did on Elon Musk. If you go on my YouTube channel and you scroll down, you see the video I did on Elon Musk and why I don't like him, basically. Because, he's the one that wants to put chips in our brain. He's creating with his Neuralink, and he's, promoting all these other agenda like carbon tax. That's also of the WEF. So, but, I really like RFK. So that's also, but I'm split on Trump, actually. So I'm going to talk about the pros that I see and the cons that I see about the first 2 days of his presidency. So first, about the pros. Now, what I really do like is that he quit the WHO, because the WHO is absolutely a corrupt organization. I mean, corrupt to the bone. I mean, we've seen it 4 years ago during the quote-unquote health crisis. It's good that he got out of the WHO and he stopped the funding from the US for the WHO. I love that. That's amazing. That's absolutely great, because we need to, stop funding those, corrupt global organizations who are totally into control and who honestly they have nothing to do about health, but all about control. So that's a really good thing. Another thing that I really like is that he does the crackdown on immigration. That's, that should be stopped, because that's also a global New World Order plan, is this unbridled immigration everywhere. Another thing is that he quit from the Paris Climate Agreement. That's a really good thing, because, I'm not going to go in details in all these different subjects, but that's really good. Like the climate history that he, tempers that a bit. An amazing thing. I really love that. Another good thing that he did is, I haven't seen any presidential orders on that. Is the MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. I would have loved to see some presidential orders on that. So I haven't seen that. If I'm wrong, say it. Correct me in the comments. But I don't think I have seen any presidential orders like where he says he will remove, like where RFK says he will remove the fluoride from the water supply, because fluoride is really, proven in a lot of studies not good for your health, but they promote it. So I would have loved to see that too. I haven't seen anything like in the orders of the Make America Healthy Again. So I would love to see that. Maybe a little bit of critique there. What I also like is that he will reinstate military personnel who refused the COVID vaccine and who got thrown out of the army. That's a good thing. But I want to add some caveats, because I've seen people commenting on ex-military men who, got booted out of the army because they didn't want to take the COVID vaccine. And they say, we have a totally different life now. So they will only get the money, they only be reinstated with full pay if they go back into the army. But a lot of them have, totally changed their lifestyles because they were thrown out of the army. So they are not going to go back. So for them, there is no compensation. So I think that's something to consider here. Also, what about all the nurses? What about all the doctors who refused to comply, who got thrown out of their work, who got fired? What about them? I didn't hear Trump say anything about them. So I think, it's positive, but there's a lot more to be done. What about all the military personnel with vaccine damage? He didn't talk about them. So, good, but I expect more there. So these are the things. There's more things that he did that I really like, but these are the main things I want to go over. So now I want to talk a little bit about the cons. And that was actually yesterday evening, and I saw him saying that it was in the news, everywhere in the news, that he's going to invest $500 billion into AI development. Now, AI is here to stay. I'm not against AI, but, we need to get our priorities straight. I mean, $500 billion for AI. He's going to build like a lot of new nuclear power plants to get this AI going. And he did this with, he introduced these, I would call them technocrats, these, big tech guys, which was Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, and then another, I forgot his name. They started promoting mRNA. Now, that's the thing I don't like here, because AI needs to be really tightly regulated. AI is like, it's a very, like even Musk said that. Musk said, AI is a true danger. And the only thing we're going to survive AI, he says, is to merge with AI. Now, I don't like Musk, so I think that's a false choice, So it's so dangerous that we have to like merge with it to survive. I mean, what is that? That's what Musk is saying, basically. So what I miss here is Trump is like all over the moon. He's going to throw $500 billion into AI in this project he calls Stargate. But there is no talk about, the ethical issues. It's a very powerful technology that needs to be surrounded with a lot of ethical, talk. And he should talk about that and ethical actions. It's like nuclear technology. Nuclear technology is very powerful. So we need to have a lot of safeguards around nuclear technology, which we have. I mean, nuclear power plants have a lot of safeguards built into them. A lot of security checks, a lot of safeguards in the technology. And still, even then, it can go wrong. I mean, think about Chernobyl. Think about Fukushima. When it goes wrong, it really goes wrong. That's the same with AI. If you fuse AI with human consciousness, it can really go wrong, in my opinion. I talk about that in other videos. And there is I don't see that ethical and moral side to it. So that's a bit of a red flag for me. So, and I'm going to play this clip here of Larry Ellison, who actually talks about, using AI for health and making mRNA vaccines. Like, first day in office, and he brings out these technocrats.
Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. and using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
And Larry Ellison, as you see here, he's a true technocrat because he talks about, the rise of the modern surveillance state. He predicted that and how citizens will have to be on their best behavior. And he said in one of these interviews that we'll have no choice but to behave in line with the social norms, as both the population and the police will be under constant surveillance. And let me quote him what he said in that article. He says, he sees a growing opportunity for his company to help authorities analyze real-time data from millions of surveillance cameras. So basically, this guy is helping to create this big brother technological control grid. So why is Trump bringing him on the first day? He's a friend of Musk, by the way, Larry Ellison. Another guy is Sam Altman from OpenAI. So, this is what I don't like about it. So we need to be vigilant. If I would have been a Trump fan, this would have been a huge letdown for me, because he was saying he was going to make a big announcement. So I was like, okay, what's it going to be? But then he talks about AI and $500 billion for AI and, this mRNA technology to cure cancer that this guy, Larry Ellison, this technocrat, is selling. I don't know. Yeah, and I also know that, health does not come from AI or from mRNA. Health does not come from a needle. Health comes from your food, your lifestyle, your consciousness, exercising, working out. Why don't we stress that? Why do these tech billionaires need to talk about AI and mRNA? It doesn't make any sense. So that's what I don't like about it. So, and this AI push is happening all over the world, even in the UK with Prime Minister Starmer of the UK. He wants, and I'm going to show it to you guys here, he wants the UK to become the leading global testbed for AI enforcement. Keir Starmer, who is at the WEF right now, says he wants to, make Britain the world leader in AI and turbocharge the plan for AI, which is, if you know who Keir Starmer is and who the WEF is, it's basically control, it's big brother control of society. That's what they will use the AI for. AI can be used for good or can be used for bad. But about our health is we need to look first at our lifestyle, our food and work and living healthy and exercising instead of going into mRNA, It's like, what I feel here is they're not looking at the cost. Like, I feel like RFK wants to look at the cost. RFK really wants to, make America healthy again. And he talks about fluoride, he talks about lessening toxicity. And then but then on the other side, you have Trump on the first day in office talking about mRNA to cure cancer. No, we don't have to cure it. That's fighting the symptom. We have to heal what is causing it in the first place. So it's like, again, this modern medicine, what I see here with these AI tech billionaires promoting these mRNA vaccines, it's fighting the symptoms instead of healing the cause. So it's interesting how this is going to evolve, with RFK in the administration. And about health, actually the sons of David Icke, of which I played the clip earlier, predicted that health would be the first thing. They predicted that yesterday before Trump came out with this, predicted that health would be the first thing where Trump would actually disappoint people in.
There's such a conflict that this is the area, I think, that he's going to let people down more quickly than others, is this health area.
And we have to remember that AI is the big agenda, is the big agenda of the New World Order elites that are behind the scenes. So there can be positives to AI, but there can also be negatives in the sense that it can be used for real control. And the fusion of human consciousness with AI, where we lose our humanity, that's not a road where we want to go down to. So we have to be extra vigilant for that. Now, to close, during Trump's inauguration, I had this like kind of, I would call it a spiritual insight or a spiritual knowing, and it was about that light and dark are connected somehow in our reality. And I will explain this. We are all part of this reality where we're incarnated into, and we are all connected, actually. Everything that happens on the world stage, everything that happens in our personal lives, the good people out there, we're all part of this reality. We're all part of this reality that has light and dark in it. And what I feel is maybe there's light and dark within the Trump administration. Maybe it's not only light. Maybe there's also some darker people in there. And I think it is like in the form of, like the shadow, in the form of maybe Larry Ellison, who says he wants to help governments control the people. So that's why we gotta stay discerning, because we're here to discern light and dark. We're here to increase our knowledge, to learn discernment. So I don't think it's a good idea to be like totally accepting of everything that Trump does uncritically. No, we have to discern light and dark, and maybe that's our job. Even with the Trump administration, that's gonna bring some good things in these form of these presidential orders that he did on the first day. But then again, we have to remain vigilant. We have to be able to discern between light and dark, and it's never ever good to blindly follow somebody 100%. That's what I'm saying. And light and dark can be closer than you think, like, for example, in the form of Princess Diana. I think she was a person of the light, but then she was like in a family, that I wouldn't call them really of the light, the UK royal family, but there might be, light people in those dark places, as we have seen in other places. I mean, for example, Anneke Lucas as a kid, whom I talk about a lot on my social channels. So, anyway, that's not a story I'm going to go into now. So that's really important. And we all have light and dark within ourselves too. We all have a little bit of shadow within ourselves, our little sides, So stay discerning, remain discerning, and don't judge each other for our beliefs. That's the most important thing. But remain discerning for the light and dark, because that's one of our, the lessons we need to learn as souls that are incarnated in this reality. That's part of our metaphysical learning. So I'm at the end of this video. If you like my content, please don't forget to like and share and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.